And do we have, see, we were getting a letter from Senator K. Bailey Hutchison. Has that shown up?
No. They're going to be submitting those sometime this week.
No, we've got a plan B on that, but,
Oh,
okay.
faxed over? Okay, thanks, Mike.
Well, somehow we're ahead of schedule here.
Mr. Chairman,
I think what we can,
you could go to some public comment.
that's what I thought. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. We can start the public comment session early, and then we'll, when Senator Nelson gets here, we'll break and hear his remarks. Do you
Chair,
want?
I've got some public comment information that we can go to and show on the screen before we pull everybody up.
Why don't you just handle the public comment session here yourself, and
Okay.
let's ask everyone to hold their comments to 3 minutes out of fairness to others who would like to comment.
Bring this one up. Is that coming up?
We have microphones, I think, in both aisles.
I just wanted to acknowledge some of the comments that we received via the website. We went live on the website on June 1st, and as of June 15th, we had almost 300 comments telling us what to do and how to do our work, so it was very much appreciated, and that was it was an excellent response. And all of those comments and suggestions are getting read. Again, the website location is http://hsf.nasa.gov. Don't need the www. Anyway, you can see the pie chart there. That's the breakdown of the comments grouped by subject matter. Constellation received about 10% of the comments. The comments were mixed as to keeping the projects and some suggesting canceling them. Most that were for keeping them asked that it be used to fill the gap between the shuttle and the next vehicle. And those that were recommending canceling these projects mostly discussed the cost and potential unreliability. Shuttle, the shuttle comments were overwhelmingly in favor of continuing the shuttle. Reasons fell into three groups primarily: keeping ahead of the world in space travel, concern that we would lose the drive or ability to return to space, and lack of confidence in following programs. Budget concerns, another frequent topic. Most of the comments showed an interest in increasing the budget for human spaceflight. A recent cut in the NASA budget that was announced on the House side recently. We got a spike in comments right after that was done. The moon comments stressed the need to reach the moon again. Most of the comments on the moon were in favor of that, also mentioning the need for a base of some sort to allow for either mining or solar power collection. Mars, most of the comments related to Mars stress the need to skip the moon, go straight to Mars, or to have at least Mars as the ultimate goal for human exploration. Other destinations, there was a grab bag of other destinations. Most of those were sort of beyond Mars type destinations. And then a number of science-related comments ranging from not wanting to explore space at all and focusing on Earth and Earth research to using space exploration to increase our technology here. Also concerned that space exploration would just be used as political gain and not for actual science. So there was a number of questions along those lines. And I pulled out some examples. These were just mine that I thought were representative of some of the comments. Sending a man to the moon again and onto Mars has the value of growth of ideas and enhances the spirit of the people. We have failed as a people if we let the space program go on without the human being stepping his foot on another planet. With a U.S.-based commercial manned launch industry now maturing, Constellation would be the last manned launcher built by NASA. I hope the committee will examine a new role for NASA as an enabling industry for American spaceflight entrepreneurs, launching men and materials to LEO aboard commercial spacecraft so it can concentrate its resources on taking mankind back to the moon and beyond. A comment from a NASA employee: I'm an engineer working for NASA at KSC on Constellation. I wanted to express my desire to see specific recommendations and plans for this study. I fear we may see the same old general open-ended inspirational message which has left our agency adrift for far too long. We need to have a firm idea about what our goals are and how to achieve them. We need specifics. And then the last one, I had to throw this one out. I just wanted to send a thank you note to all those on the panel. I trust you will make the right decisions with regards to a fair balance between human and robotic space flight without making human space flight, taking human space flight from us completely. So I definitely wanted to end on a thank you to us. And then just one other thought on the website. We are encouraging a lot of participation. We want you to visit the website. We're also Twittering on the website, and as of June 15th, we had 721 followers, which I'm told is a very good number. So, so keep following us. I think we are also Twittering some messages real time from the committee meeting. So when you get back to your computer, check those. Okay. Status on Senator Nelson?
Why don't we begin public comments? Do you have a list of people who would like to speak, or should we just ask folks to come up?
Right. Again, per my comments this morning, please come up to one of the two standing mics. We have one on both sides. Please limit your comments to no more than 3 minutes, and preference is for comments and not for questions. Norm, go ahead and call them out as you
Let's see. Sir, we'll begin on this side. Could you identify yourself, please?
My name is Greg Zittison, and first of all, thank you for doing this important work. My concern with going back to the moon is that there's a lot of interest in the vehicles and in the technology, but there's still not a very clear idea, I think, in public about what we're really going to do when we get there. And especially given the idea of the moon as a stepping stone to future places, I don't have a good sense that we have a real plan in place, at least not publicly discussed, that really addresses things like what are we going to do, how are we going to develop things that are going to make the moon a good stepping stone. What kinds of, for example, manufacturing on the moon seems to be an important part of using that as a stepping stone, being able to produce things on the moon. That doesn't seem to be coming up a lot. So I would ask the committee to please bear in mind also not just the technologies that get us to the moon, but also what are we going to do once we get there, because that's going to be a very important role, I think, of anything in terms of trying to sell this program and in trying to keep forward momentum going. Apollo petered out very quickly, in part because people got very used, once we got past the anticipation of getting to the moon, we got very used to seeing astronauts against a gray background doing the moment-to-moment work. And I think we need a very good vision of what we're going to do on the moon if we're going to sustain that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sir.
Good morning. My name is Osa Fitch, and I'm a private citizen of the United States. I would like to thank the committee for this opportunity to provide input into your review of the plans for U.S. Human spaceflight. As an American taxpayer with a technical background in aerospace, I care about the United States human spaceflight programs on many, many fronts. I'd like to make the two major points to the committee. First is that the vision for space exploration, I believe, is fundamentally sound, and as an underlying mission and rationale for NASA's involvement in human spaceflight, I'd like to see that continue. Second, NASA's Constellation program, as currently structured, is really on a path to failure, I believe, and it will not achieve the vision for space exploration. It's likely to continue to fail until it is fundamentally restructured. Regarding the VSE, any United States government human spaceflight program needs to be shaped such that it inspires all Americans and it does not compete with commercial enterprises. The VSE, with its focus on moving beyond low Earth orbit operations, meets this need in both of these areas. I support this vision, and I believe that all Americans support this vision if it can be executed in a cost-effective manner. Human spaceflight also inspires people all over the world. Regarding NASA's Constellation program, there are two basic problems that I believe need to be addressed. One, the system requirements have been set in a manner that does not account for any of the real-world constraints faced by a government-run human spaceflight program. The largest issue facing the country at this point in history is the current economic crisis. Any government-run human spaceflight program must operate in an environment of fixed or declining real budgets. Picking arbitrary mission requirements and then assuming that the budget will be made available to develop arbitrary systems to meet those requirements is in a monolithic architecture is unrealistic in the economic and financial environment we face today. Two, the Ares Launcher Development Program has basically run off the rails. It is developing two all-new and unaffordable launch systems The Ares 1 program, even if successful, fundamentally duplicates existing launcher capability without adding anything new of value, but it does so at great cost to the taxpayer, and that cost is growing daily. The technical limitations of the Ares 1 launcher have had significant negative impact on the other areas of the Constellation program, particularly on the Orion spacecraft, forcing multiple redesigns and the elimination of many important spacecraft systems, including safety features and reusability features. The Ares 5 has grown into a rocket with little commonality with Ares 1 and almost no commonality at all with the existing space shuttle system, including infrastructure. Because Ares 1 and Ares 5 are two different launchers, the flight rate for each will be lower than if a single launcher were used for both missions, driving up costs. Because of the enormous size of the Ares 5 launcher, its flight weight will be very low, driving up costs for it even further.
Could I ask you to wrap up?
I'm wrapping it up right now, sir. Okay, I'd like to make 2 points as possible solutions. One, switch to a capabilities-based approach and leverage systems that already exist. Do it with minimum development to get to an architecture that can be scaled and grown over time. You're going to hear several presentations today, I believe, including EELV, direct, space shuttle side-mounted options. Any of these may take that approach. I urge you to give strong considerations to those. Second, focus on cost as an independent variable. We've got to understand that we've got a fixed budget, take what we have, put it together in a different way to achieve a vision that can be grown over time. I will go ahead and wrap it up here, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Sir.
Hi, my name is Henry Fingerhut. I'm a student at Georgetown University and an intern with the NASA Academy program. I guess I had more of, an open-ended or, more nebulous, per se, question, or comment. But given the trend of, tenuously bound projects that NASA has taken up since the Apollo program, and the remarks of Director Jordan of ESA about the importance of continuity when rationale for a current project is still valid, I just think it's important to, more critically question whether Constellation fosters, or to what extent Constellation fosters a compelling public image of continuity or overall direction for the agency. I know Representative Olson mentioned that the problem is not a lack of vision, but a lack of commitment. But it's important, I think, to look into how that commitment is made such that the vision isn't compromised. And finally, I just wanted to mention that I think we should be looking into the extent to which we can look beyond Constellation to ensure that it doesn't become just another in a series of, more incremental, discontinuous missions, especially, for example, through the end of our careers as the next generation of engineers and scientists. So I guess that's really more broad-based than a lot of the other questions, but I think it's still important to keep in the back of one's mind as they make these decisions. So,
We appreciate your comments. Sir.
Hi, my name is Ephraim Lanford. I just wanted to voice a slight concern about the committee's, authority and perhaps charter to explore the implications and possibilities of international leadership. So, if the committee thinks that there are ways to use the space program to draw attention to or reveal or distribute benefits of international cooperation in broad areas like global markets, weapons non-proliferation, perhaps human rights in maybe a particular country that some are considering inviting to the ISS, or to global aspects of more space-specific questions that are kind of more traditional, such as education and inspiration or industrial base, then I hope that the committee will, this is my opinion, but not be abashed to seek the, input or guidance that it needs at a high level to consider questions of high-level policy and diplomacy to explore all these issues to the fullest. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning. I also want to thank you, gentlemen and ladies, for the serving on the panel. I started my career in the early 60s after the infamous Sputnik, and been involved in the industry now for 45 years, thereabouts. And I think one thing that I've heard several times here regarding the extension of the constellation to Mars, it's certainly my opinion, and I believe it's the Earth to Mars that is really going to have the technological breakthrough. Of course, most of us have been to Mars, or not personally, but the Mars episode, to the moon. And I think it's the Mars that's going to get us the real big next step in technology. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, I wonder if I might make a request. The committee is sincerely interested in a very broad base of input from the national community, and particularly from the youth. As we've already heard several references today, one of the principal political incentives in creating a broad-based human exploration program is inspiration of the youth. It's continually referenced, in fact, even interestingly in the comments today by our Russian colleague. So I would especially invite the youth of America to comment via all the appropriate mechanisms that only they know how to do, like twittering back and blogging. There are several blogs going on, and we'd really like to hear from the youth of America what would inspire them and how they would like to get engaged.
I think that's a great request, and we hope that those who are watching on television will heed that request. While we have a moment here...
Norm, quick update. Representative Nelson is here. I'm sorry, Senator Nelson.
He's here too.
I do not see the senator. Where are you here?
Just got it coming in through the atrium, I believe.